good, smelling good, eating good, drinking good, thinking good thoughts, having a good time, sharing good energy, in good places with good people, doing good things, and good. Yeah, that. I'm sorry, I'm a little excited. Well, a lot excited. It's a lot of excited energy. There's also the opposite end of that, which is anxiety. So there's anxiety for some, and excitement for others. Yeah. Yeah, there's a huge gap between the two types of energies. Yep. Because like somebody's smiling and then somebody's in despair. Did you see that? Did you see how those just kind of popped up? Yeah. So just so you know the energy as we go through some things. Spirit's wanted me to make acknowledgement of like the fact that we're going to get into some Akashic Records things here. I have a lot of notes as per usual. I also, my notes, it's like sometimes I'm just given like a download kind of like, oh, it's a Cinderella story, but it got Uno reversed because of spell work, and this is what happened. So it's kind of like, oh, okay. So it's so I'll get a little few more things that are just downloads, and I don't know how they're gonna connect. But then as I'm looking at whatever it is I'm told to like look up, then it's like, oh, and then I'll be reading something, and it could be like days later, but it'll tie into something else that was from a download, and I'll go, oh. So just so you know, there are a lot of downloads. There's a lot of information. Hopefully this will help with some clarity because this is one of those readings. All right. So what that really means is that in this instance, they wanted to keep you hidden, blah, 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 blah. But their attempts to like make you unsavory or whatever that is, that's what caused your popularity. They wanted to make you wildly, unlikable or something like that, right? And like universally a horrible person. But what actually happened was they reversed it. So in the instance as well, with respect to like the story of Cinderella, it's almost like, well, yes, there are divine masculines involved, but there are very few divine feminines, is what I'm understanding. And I'm not trying to be funny or to like, eliminate any divine beings or uh, 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 anybody that considers themselves to be a divine being. This is the other thing too, like the throat chakras are being released right now a lot too. So a lot of people are actually speaking up and saying what they think, what they feel, what they know, what they hold to be their own truth too. And not just in small ways, it's just like on every level. But anyway, but also doing that, but doing it in the correct way is what is actually going to get the results that individuals are looking for. So anyway, there was some talk maybe a while back amongst them about like, oh, they accessed the Akashic records, and they were gonna like time travel and like to stop it. And it explains too in my reading too a lot of the information on like what the pause, like all these different things are going to be explained here. But anyway, so last week in one of my readings, I kept being reminded in my own life, in my personal life, that it was Rosh Hashanah. It was a new year. And I was like, wow, okay. And me, one of those people who looks at all faiths, right? But it actually came up even more because I started to explore like what Rosh Hashanah was and, just read up on it for a bit on around that time. And I also noticed the moon cycle in that time too. And it felt a lot like a portal energy. And I used it, as we divine beings do. So this is also for those individuals who know that they were using portal energy last week at some point in the beginning of the month of last week, the beginning of October. So there was a portal. I don't know what it was the first day of October. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so anyway, so it was like some reflection before and after, maybe spurred some different trajectory. But anyway, so the Rosh Hashanah, so people who are on their spiritual journey have been ascending into and shaping themselves for their highest good, understood probably that portal energy and may have even innately or ritualistically did something, kind of even noticing, like you may have noticed a synchronicity at that time or heightened clear olfactance. And this was the last part of the research that I had to do, and I couldn't figure out what it was called. So you know how we all have clairs, right? So there's this thing called clairolfactance, which is the sense of smell, right? And it's wild because it's like there's this connection between religions and understandings and things like that that do need to be incorporated. So please take your time with digesting the information because it is valid. All right. So I initially started to finish this out, all this research, by looking at so anyway, Rosh Hashanah is a celebration of the creation of the world and marks making a fresh start. So that is essential, because if you were using that portal energy, or you were aware or manifesting something new or focused on that, that is what you are doing. So you should be in a celebration energy. Okay. Also, it's a holy day, which people are not expected to work. And we'll get into that too, because there was some energy around that too, like with people's feelings around like what you'll be doing, and how, that's just a part of this gap that there is between their thinking and yours. But anyway, so, and it says, instead of it's a time for them to reflect on the past year and ask for forgiveness for anything wrong they feel they have done. And I feel like if you're part of my collective, you've kind of been doing that the whole time. So when I got to looking up the spiritual sense of smell, right? The olfactor, clairolfactants, right? Because we have all these clairs, right? So when I got to looking at that, it brought me to this scripture, or like kind of scripturally inclined information. It says, "We long to know and belong with God, real attentive and real authentic. We experience the sweetness of this attraction as though spirit were that delicious fragrance, like morning coffee, fresh flowers, or an ocean breeze arising from within us and around us." That was like, I was just like, whoa, 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 when I read that. Because when I experienced this most recently, I've been experiencing some heightened sense of, well, I know I'm clairolfactant. Like I can smell a lot. So I knew that this one, though, it smelled like an old perfume, but it was like, well, no, this perfume smells like it could never be bad to anybody's nose. And that was the weird part to me, but familiar. And so I had to kind of like sit there for a minute, and I kept, and it was literally coming from like right by my garbage can, guys. So it's kind of hard to mistake. And it's like, okay, it's not the garbage bags. It's not the dish soap. It's not this. It's, you go through the process of like elimination. So you're not really tripping, as you usually do when you first realize you have this, this ability. But, essentially it says that, what it was talking about here reminded me of like the times that I smelled it. So it has been in the morning when I'm like getting coffee, and it is kind of near and around this place where I might put flowers, and all of these things like really are pleasant to me, which reminded me of the scent that I keep smelling, which is pleasant, right? So it's like, or an ocean breeze arising from it within us and around us. And all of those things sound very like delicious and fragrant, like morning coffee, fresh flowers, an ocean breeze coming from within us though. And that's what it says about this sense of smell. It's the smell that comes from within us, right? So for me, it was just kind of wow. But it's saying, and then there was another section about understanding the holy aroma of spirit. And it's not like we're going to physically smell the aroma of spirit, but it's like a divine perfume, an irresistible, inescapable attraction to our encounter with source. So if you've been smelling things and your sense of smell has been like catching you off guard, and they're really pleasant fragrances and you can't figure out where they're coming from, that is the holy aroma of spirit, is what I'm understanding. Because see, that's what it says here. Understanding, I don't know if you can see that. Understanding the Holy Spirit of aroma. That's what it says here. But if you can't see it, then I'll post it anyway. Yeah, coming from within you and around you. And it says this happens as soon as we release the blocks that keep the smell of the divine hidden from us during our ordinary life. That brought me to a thought too, in the process of like that 50s come up twice. 50 cents come up twice in my reading so far. Just about the fact, like he just said basic, and then the whole basic and ordinary keeps coming up. And I'm like, yeah, there's something about that. People forgot that was like, it wasn't like basic or ordinary. It was like the trueness. It was like the authenticity of us. It helped us from being, so molded by, the other experiences or the other energies that we've encountered over life's course, that we haven't, cleansed ourselves from or healed from, etc., etc. But anyway, I hope you guys see where I'm going with this. So, hope I'm not like, on a rocket ship, which I mostly am. So, welcome. Says, but this happens so that we can understand the inner experience of grace to the center of our being. All right, so I have a lot of other things. So Rosh Hashanah, it also brought me to, It also brought me to understand like the chakras that we need to be focused on. I apologize if anybody doesn't like the fact that I talk about spell work, but I do because it is relevant, okay? But anyway, the root, sacral, solar plexus, and throat chakra are being affected right now, okay? I'll get into that a little bit more later. There is a lot of information about prison. There's just an energy of prison. Sing Sing came up, and I just want to tell you, it's just because like Spirit kept reminding me, like, you have a relative that's been in Sing Sing. You have a relative that's been in Sing Sing, and I kept wondering, like, why are you telling me this? And I got to the understanding of like, it came up in another download that I had, this information that I somehow stumbled upon by the download of like, oh, what a tangled web we weave. So in my download of like, oh, what a tangled web we weave, which is what I was looking up and taking pictures of here, because I was like, oh, title it that, you know, my reading. And then it got into stories, symbols, paradigms, rituals, routines, power structures, control systems, organizational structures, and that's descripted in this I don't know if you can see these. I think on some of these you can't see it, but this is a web, and I'll post this too in my community. But then there's like other pictures just to show you like where my thought process was. I was literally just thinking it was like a simple download, right? And I was, you know, looking at different pictures, and then it got to this one for like the mental prison. And I was just kind of like, oh, wow. And all I saw was this, like people that they have working within these organizations basically are putting these other people that were previously firmly attached within these organizations into some state of mental prison, if not an actual prison. Okay. And it also was just kind of tying into like how people are not ascending right now, blah, 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 you know, all my stuff. But right now we're getting ready to go into this Jupiter retrograde, which is what Spirit wants me to get onto. This retrograde is pretty potent for the individuals who are sitting in their north node. Okay. I didn't know that was going to be what I was saying. Okay. I just, you know, downloads. All right. So like anything that you've been manifesting by way of clearing past life karma that's associated with your north node. Okay. Yeah, that's just what I'm being told now. There were other downloads about that. But I guess I'm supposed to go to those now. Okay. There are some reminders to the collective. You are not being asked to reinvent the wheel here. So if you feel any kind of pressure or overwhelmingness from the effects of like, oh, I have such a responsibility, because that's also like the negative thought projection that they want to impinge on you, is for you to think it's too much, like it's going to be overwhelming and people can't do this and blah, 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 and just trying to have you focus on like all the hurdles, but you're no longer in a space to actually focus on that because of the transit, is what I just heard. The like move, the shift, the guide, you know, whatever. Anyway, you're not being asked to reinvent the wheel, but they want to know how many spokes that you have on yours. Like it's a process of like where teacher and student process is the same, because you hold a key, is what I'm understanding. And there's also this statement of a reminder of don't let your tea get cold. Enjoy it while it's fresh, because you waited patiently for the water to get hot, and then you waited for the bags to brew. So don't get distracted right now. Now, they know you would have they knew you would have a lot of high honor options in every way, but they didn't know who, what, when, where, how, and for what, right? Okay. And because you're not really forthcoming with your business, they won't, right? But there's this good old, I even wrote it that way in here. It's this good old Jupiter in retrograde. So it's like, it's this energy of like, well, what do you want to be revealed in March, right? What would be the biggest, best, most grand, genius scheme of play that you could present outwardly that was really only the biggest brand, maybe somebody's putting out a new brand, biggest, best, grand, genius scheme in the play. But the whole thing is people thought you were against them. It was you against you. It's always you against you. So it's like, okay, you revealing your new you. And people just, but there's this other thing. So the songs that kept coming up, and I couldn't understand, like, okay, when am I going to throw this in? There's a song by Ty Tribbett, and it kept coming in. It was like, the devil thought he had me. And so if you know the lyrics to that, if you like that song, that's the part of like understanding that you are at right now, or coming to, is like, it's like, it's a part of that like full awakening. Yeah. All right. Oh, there's some energy about the glass slipper. Okay. So there's several glass slippers. I just want you to understand. The first pair that I came across is likely to be something that more so resonates with me. So in this glass slipper energy, this first glass slipper that came up, it's got an etching in it, and the etching is of ivy. And spirit told me to go look that up just to kind of understand. But there's several different slippers. So there's one with like that looks like, and I'll post it. It looks very real, and that was the first pair that I found, and I was like, whoa. And I don't even think I was looking for real glass slippers, but somehow that's what I came across. And then I found a few more pair, which this one, you know, it may different ones resonate to different people based on their journey, is what I'm understanding. Like this one who is someone who is just really connecting and working with source for their own benefit. They don't have any children. They're, you know, maybe an older single woman, you know, something like that, or with a husband, you know, however it resonates. Then there's this other one who may be kind of who may have children that are adults, but is very, very like hip with it, and like, but still very, you got it, right? There were a lot of different slippers. But what I was understanding is like there's only, because there's a limited amount of these divine beings. So even though there's four sets of slippers, there's actually only 3 divine being sets. And so the process of elimination is what's playing out in this reading, okay? And I don't know how, but you take it for your own resignation. But this pair of glass slippers, they automatically took this one because it has this like, you see how I'll put it up, but it has like some type of like label, like you would expect like a pair of red bottoms or something like that to have. And this is just kind of like a caution, like everybody's knowing that like they get to decide. Life is about choices. You can choose whatever you want. And so those are the 4 slipper types. So with respect to this etching, because I get there's some like, oh yeah, okay. So with the etching on the like most original, the first pair that came up, which I feel like is the most original, but I guess because I was about to say that. Anyway. Hold on, y'all. Jupiter in retrograde. What do you want to be revealed in March? Biggest, best, grand genius. The devil thought he had you. Thought that your life was over. Okay. Some of the other, I'm going to just get into spell work really quickly and so we can get off of it, because it's not really our priority, but we do need to be cautious and aware of the things that people may try to throw and present in our world in order for us to be disillusioned, right? They may try to throw it over from another planet, is what I'm hearing. Like, somebody trying to throw their trash from one planet to the other. Not understanding how the atmosphere works, but it's just kind of like a cautionary tale for you to see, like, what somebody may be trying to do if you wanted to know. But if you don't, like, maybe fast forward if you're watching this later. If you don't get into that, they probably just that clicked off, but it's only be a second. So they're sending energy if you're in a divine union, like he or she doesn't need you. And if you're just on a solo mission, it's like, oh, the world doesn't really need what I have, or I don't have what it takes. This mission is too big. So they may be sending you information to make you think not, like you're just not big enough for what you're trying to do. Or they make you feel like you're such an alone person. Nobody, I heard the song, Lonely. I am so lonely. That's the kind of energy they're trying to pull. But as I did when I got that download, I'm laughing, right? But it was like, but they're very disillusioned, and those are literally their problems. They're stupid and disillusioned is what I wrote here. But that's like, and they're heavy on the sacral chakra energy if you have a twin flame. And so how I arrived at which chakras they were going towards, it had something to do with something totally unrelated, which is funny when you guys get ready to hear about it. So it's told something about New York is first or something like that. But anyway, so let me keep going through the notes, and I'll probably wrap it back around to the sacral chakras. But red, orange, blue, yellow chakras. They also are sending some energy of wanting you to be in fear of like maybe your child being taken against your will, or they are sending dream magic to children under 10 years old. Children between the ages of 12 to 14, they are sending emotional distress and lack of worthiness, dark energy, life not advancing. They make them feel like their life is not advancing. To be sure to acknowledge this age. I'm writing notes to myself about the notes. Be sure to acknowledge the age, 12 to 14. So make sure that you're encouraging with your children as you're on your awakening journey. And it's quite all right to share, things in the process that seem like they can be helpful to or preventive, right? But encourage them, let them know that they are worthy and that they are also in the process of manifesting a new life, because they become a grown up at some point, but they're kind of manifesting that experience for themselves right now. So the hike upward, right, on this journey we call life to the top, we'll have several moments of new incline, etc., that require like for things of a larger magnitude, like to look bigger, deeper, or back, or take a break and get some water. All these things that can kind of shape your adult life and can switch up how you think. But they need to know that they can switch it up. Like when things come at them, that's the priority, I guess, for their consciousness. Is what I'm understanding. Like, let them know that they can switch it up by just, that trajectory. And we'll get into that because I feel like I know for sure I talked about trajectory maybe a year ago. And we were talking about how, like, you can change the trajectory of your life and blah, 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 blah. So maybe if I think about that reading, I'll repost it. There may be something significant in that because that was heavy on my mind when I wrote this. But let them know, like, they can do that. Also, because of their age, this may help with enabling them to use their regression memory. And even potentially access their Akashic records, which will support their consciousness so they can tap in properly and likely surpass anything that you could co-create with them as a parent. You know what I mean? Like if you were just like kind of single-handedly, but because I feel like these are like true starseed children. So this is a true, starseed child who doesn't need to be directed, only supported. You know what I mean? And that's your way of supporting this. This could be a middle child, an oldest boy or a sister. Is like they could be the oldest boy, or sister is older, or they are the oldest sister or something like that, or they have a sister and brother that are half siblings in some way, or they are the sister and brother who share the same set of parents, or it's like, or the reverse of that. It's a lot of different scenarios in that, but like maybe even middle child is the way you should understand it too, or like oldest boy, or I don't know, anyway. But those are the, helps with that. Let's see. I think we're about finished with that. Oh yeah, it told me here, it says examine the slipper's authenticity. Initially, okay, so now I'm getting back into the ivy. So initially when I saw the very first pair that I fell in love with, those pairs seemed as though they were like spotted and etched, which a lot of, I probably identified with them because of my face. I have so many moles and stuff like that. And then I have like this like little bit of scarring from like acne when I was younger, but it's not like crazy. I don't know. It makes me is how I look at it. But anyway, this ivy, because I was like, well, I zoomed in on the picture of the shoes and I was like, oh, well, let me look at this ivy that seems to be spotted and edged on these, So I looked up ivy and it said it represents eternity and fidelity. So I was like, oh, this is really awesome. Like there's a huge eternity and fidelity. There's a lot of potent energy in this reading. And it said, I don't know how I got this note, but it says, in ancient Greece, newlyweds wore ivy wreaths to show their loyalty and devotion to one another, called after the climbing of evergreen plant. So the name ivy comes from like climbing an evergreen plant, which also like likens to the whole process of like climbing and, reaching a new height is what I'm seeing that as now that I'm hearing that for the second time, because I knew there was something about that I included that. But anyway, I didn't know why, but ivy was often presented to the bride and groom as a symbol of everlasting life, devotion, fidelity, and loyalty. The Greeks also used it to make a crown for Liber, the god of fertility, as well as poets and other muses. So again, this potency can not just be applied to your personal life, but also to your financial life, your business life. This is a Rosh Hashanah, a new year, a new birth. So there's the other thing. So part of this is your birthright, and that's another reason why this stuff won't work, right? So I actually, me, Miss Google everything. So I Googled birthright. I was like, well, let me look up the word because I haven't done that yet. So I did. All right, where's that part? And there's something about that number 13 because it was like the Jupiter goes into retrograde roughly every 13 months. The retrograde period typically lasts for about 120 days or 4 months. What may seem like a reversal of fortune, this cosmic phenomenon serves as an invitation for us to reflect, reassess, and realign ourselves with our true purpose. Now, if you did this last year during this time frame, like right before Halloween, if you were already in this, you are actually in the harvest of that, just so you know. Because some people are at different places. And that is for the people who are also supposed to get, I guess, this message. The short-term pain of accepting the truth is much better than the long-term pain of believing in illusion. So the people that we talked about, oh, I guess it's supposed to be a reading from both sides of the energies. Yeah, there's this like whole, this was what I was going to name it, was like, it's, oh, I was going to put this, like, with taking that Band-Aid off. Because at a certain extent, too, people have to understand, like, there's this whole, like, process that you've already done that collective. You've taken the Band-Aid off. You've kind of exposed yourself to whatever, and that's a part of the healing process too. So that's why you're at a different stage than most people. Again, this whole planetary shift, right? Okay. All right. I don't know. I hope I'm matching up things that I was meaning to. So, and over here, since we're talking about these negative Nellies and Nelsons, these people that are over here in this despair energy, I'm trying to check your temperature as far as like, did you smile? Did they do this? Did they do, you know, whatever. These people, while it's kind of like the whole wheel energy again. They were supposed to be a spoke in a wheel with respect to the groups that they were in. What they were really doing is putting their hand or like putting something, you know how like if you try to ride a bike and you put the thing, like something right through the spokes, it stops it, it prevents it until it breaks it. And that's what happened in these groups. Things got broken in these groups that now is the cause of them being like this inadequate energy to be present in these groups. And again, that Ty Tribbett song is coming up here. These groups really thought they had that wheel going. That was another download too about the whole wheel thing. Okay, and you and this wheel. Okay, your wheel of life. So I looked up birthright. But before I looked it up, I was like, it sounds like what it is. It sounds like because you're born, but it's yours. Like, you here? Oh, cool. We was hoping you was making because we had something special for you. I'm serious. That is the live, legit energy. Like birthright. It's just so exciting. Like people, everybody just falling off their seats, like excited about it. But the only thing that kept coming up is this birthright Israel, which, mind you, I'm already looking at Rosh Hashanah, and now I'm looking at the birthright Israel, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is definitely a download. So, if you've been on your spiritual journey, you may have explored different religions and looked at different things. I know that one of the things that I was anticipating exploring more when I was in California was actually looking and going to the synagogue there and becoming, you know, more familiar with the Jewish religion and beliefs and way of life and, you know, all those things. But yeah, the whole birthright thing just cracked me up. Give me a second. Where was I going with this? The concept of things being due to a person upon or by the fact that their birth, like, hello, you're here. It's an excitement. It was like, yes, we needed this one. Or due to the order of your birth. So again, that whole part and process of like, oh, that was this is an extra little tidbit of the down. Okay, it's a reminder of a download that I got earlier too. So this is the part of it, like in your family lineage, why you are the chosen one, and it's not in the higher or the lower ones. And I touched on that earlier because I was like brought to the whole Sing Sing. My relative had been, an uncle of mine had been in Sing Sing, and I was just kind of like, well, wait a minute. I was like, that doesn't decline whether or not somebody is a divine being. They may have been just caught up in, you know, whatever. I don't know. But anyway, trying to explain it here. But the reality of the fact is the fact that in your reality, collective, the fact that those people are actually guilty. They belong in those places that they visited, that they've hit. And you've never, right? You've been forced to come in contact in some instances with different situations and circumstances, right? Maybe even kind of like got off on almost having a DUI even or something is what I'm getting here. But anyway, or maybe for some of these despair people, like be cautious of your activity and actions because you already had a DUI. Okay, anyway. And this is not your birthright? I don't know, but I don't even know how that relates, how this got into the conversation, but clearly it's supposed to come out. Okay, now Akashic record information. So, what the other thing that I understood about birthright is that it's irrefutable. It's impossible to deny it or disprove it. So if you sat there like, okay, I'm gonna just focus on me, that's because innately you knew your birthright. You knew. You already knew. You agreed. Okay, I'm gonna wait till I'm, 27 to wake up, and from that point on, I'm not holding no bars. I'm going on, moving forward, and nobody gets any opportunity for my healing because a lot of us work by healing others, right? Anyway, birthright, irrefutable, impossible to deny or disprove. Okay? Now, divine timing, divine timing. So what is divine timing? It's basically the spiritual and earthly presence of something taking place at the same time. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that was because I was reading. It was something else that I actually wrote here. It's like birthright can only, it's because it's only can delay possession. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only thing that any type of action against you could do is a delay. And the reason why there's a time frame, not only for what they're doing to like show a response in your area, but also for like what they're doing to like have an end, is because of the Akashic records. Like, time exists, right? So did they think theirs would never be up or something? Like, I don't know. But since they access these Akashic records, they should have seen that it's something. They should have believed that, like, I don't know. But anyway, let me continue. Akashic records access for timeline info on past lives, present experiences, and future possibilities. So that's what I Googled Akashic records, and that's kind of the definition I got. Akashic records is Akashic records are access for timeline information on past lives, present experiences, and future possibilities. And I always wonder why it's just a possibility. Why we could never be like, just claim it, because you have to claim it. But I'll continue. Why is the future always represented as a possibility? Because free will is being interjected at all times, which means upon accepting your own journey or task and proceeding with the work that's involved to direct your trajectory of your manifestation, which is your free will, right? And your future possibilities, right? Okay, all right. You are asked to determine the potential trajectory based on what you wanted to resolve. If you understood that as a part of your process, like, okay, I want to resolve something that maybe I'm not getting right now, that could just be the basis of it. Like, I'm not getting something right because I don't have everything I want right now. It could literally be it, right? And if you knew your chart maybe around this time last year, you kind of maybe realized your birthright but hadn't fully stepped into it, which was all a part of that polishing process. But ultimately, the goal was to make sure that you awakened and that you took your position before the ascension process happened. Because if you're not in your seat when they take off, then you're not taking off, which is why there's a difference. There's a hot, far away gap. Okay? Because you hear there's a gap between all of this. Like, these people are in despair being faced with their own things. Like, did you smile today? Because you look sad. Did you believe and implement and solve your own problems and believe in yourself and implement whatever you learned from your self-reflection? Because that's what they're supposed to be doing. They're having a lot of anxiety and disease because they're facing their shadow. I don't make this up. I just now looked at the cards. Okay? That's just really what happened. I took them out early. I read them. I put them down. And now I'm looking again. But anyway, this polishing ceremony. Ultimately, the goal is to awaken and take your position before ascension. Now that we have taken ascension and we are on the new planet, we're doing what we want to do in living color. We are in this twin energy, either with ourself and our person, or ourself and ourself, or ourself and the universe, or ourself and God. Whatever you do is your thing to do. Ultimately, the way that we're communicating is through our mind, right? The communication, the twin energy that lives in us, the ability to mimic that of our highest self. If you want to look at twin energy as that, even, because I'm understanding like it's really all about you. So, but anyway, communication through your mind, transportation through your body. You are actively living through it and doing it in these ways. And then technology is helping with your spirit and understanding, right? Because we're using technology right now. Woohoo! All right. There is this advanced information that I'm about to share about Gemini energy. Look up where you have it in your chart. Okay, there's that. Or look up, oh no, it's not. Okay, look up the aspects that are positive aspects of Gemini and focus on those. Um, you will be able to tell whether or not you may have to release friends. Oh, that's what this, because I was like, why is karmic cycle repeated even a part of my downloads? When I was getting it, I was like, we don't do that. But you can tell the people that are in a karmic cycle are being repeated that you are definitely leaving behind, um, because they're in an energy of increased anxiety, fear. They're having a lot of mental stress. That's an indication of a karmic debt cycle that maybe somebody's entering. All right. There's a love reading that I'm going to do. You've got a lot of options. This is all kinds of crazy temptation. And it will make sense maybe why your person is saying, I want you to choose. Ooh, my nose itching. But you kind of sit there in an energy of like, but why? With your eyes crossed. Or like why, if maybe your energy, if you're on a solo mission, you're like, well, why is Spirit asking me to redefine? Like, make sure I keep doing this. Why are we redefining this? I already said I want the this and I want the that, and then over there, those. I don't know. But it could even be Grammys for somebody. I don't know. But because I don't know. But what you should know is that anybody who can actually get in front of your presence in the 3D and 4D has an opportunity to present an offer, even if it's only in the pursuit of seeing what you will do and who you'll do things with. This is just like a true test. And then I got testing 1, 2, 3. That's what I was going to name it. But I also get contact. There's something about a contact maybe that you've already had with your highest self, which won't let you misalign yourself. Okay. I love that. Thank you. But anyway, testing 1, 2, 3. Use the word testing to mean the process of evaluating. Oh, testing. Because, oh, that's a thing too. I hate testing. Don't test me. I don't like it. I'm just being honest. But you're being tested. We're being tested. This is a test. It's only a test. Because after this, we finna get it. Anyway, use the word testing to mean the process of evaluating how something works or how well students have learned it, which is also tying into that energy of like student learning position. It's like you have keys, but you're also learning what the other keys are here too somehow. Like, even though you may know about them, you're getting inside information because you don't have the, like, you know how every key has different ridges on it. And so you may have some of the ridges that this person, you know what I mean? Like, there's just all this like cool stuff. Anyway, it's Cool Kids Club. That's what I'm understanding. Anyway, most colleges require applicants to undergo testing. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of true. Okay, so I kind of left it alone at that point. Because this is special school. You ain't special, but you special. You special. You so special. Anyway, spiritual snooping. On this planet, the governing body doesn't allow that. Like, it's like there was something that, I don't know how I got there, but it was like spiritual snooping. The governing body doesn't allow that on this frequency. It had something to do when I was Googling that, whatever word I Googled that ended up with that picture of people in that mental prison. Okay? So basically something to do with that. And it's saying that you have to be caught in the 3D and the 4D per all regions. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so like in order to even get in any situation here and on this new ascension level planet, however you see it, nobody can be snooping on you, and you just have to plain out get caught for doing stuff wrong. So you're in a totally different level because everybody here is like held to their own accord. Like, they know they're supposed to be a certain type of body. This is not an initiation process anymore. You're here is what I'm understanding. So in this process, you're identifying major learning goals that qualify you for this teacher-student role. It's a duality of spiritual purpose because you'll also be learning and giving in this environment. This may be why the change to others is outside of, the change to other people that are outside of you. It seems so different, so different, And then it's something about, that's when New York first came up. What was I looking up? Oh, and maybe because that's where this like school, where this like the organization maybe first found it. Because I was just kind of reading like the birthright. So there's something to do with that, and like the significance of like I don't know. But anyway, we'll get to it. One motion, just right off, get some air. Yeah, so the whole process of like taking the band-aid off and like getting air and and getting air is a part of this temptation process as well. But it's so that you can heal. So just know that like that everything that actually can um, be in your energy or aura or energetic field is all because of it's the new levels. Maybe even new devils. So just be aware what's happening here. Yeah. Be aware there are still karmics that envy your family life because it's strong. It's very powerful what you're creating, your legacy and all of that stuff. Okay. We'll leave that there. I don't think there's much else that I wanted to pull as far as tarot. I want to do a few oracles and then I'm going to tap out. Blue Tara. Whoa. This is one from the floor. No, that was the table that I'm on making that noise. Thank you very much. Maybe the potency of your family is increasing. Anyway. So Blue Tara, chaos will give way to the higher order of love. Let there be peace in your heart. As Blue Tara looks to her right, gazing toward the future, she sees a vision of your peaceful, protected, and authentically expressive future. You have every right to feel hopeful, happy, and secure in the destiny now unfolding for you. That is beautiful. All right, what's over here? Moksha of Kali. Relief shall come swiftly. Soon you will see things differently. You are going to be liberated from the struggle you are currently experiencing. Be true to yourself and your life path, and you will attract the way forward. You will overcome all opposition and be released into improved circumstances, and be supported to bring your sacred path to fruition. I just want to make note the fact that I said these people were in jail, and it's like, you'll be released once you figure this out. Anywho. All right, let's see if we can get a few more oracles and then close it out after that. All right, who and what, please? All right. Protection. I'm feeling like it came out on this side like from this. So anyway. Those who worship me with devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, for them I carry what they lack and preserve what they have, both materially and spiritually. So like I said, it's that whole 3D, 4D, as above, so below. So spiritually, it's already written. It's already there. It's a birthright. It's this, it's that, it's this, it's that. You're a covered soul and, a true leader. So like all that, right? You're just now in this process of maintaining balance beyond religion. Maybe even doing your yoga. That's so funny to me. Like that came out like that yesterday. But anyway, changing bodies. Ooh, this is letting the people know they have some demons in there. You gotta get it. You gotta get it together. Anyway. As a person puts on new garments, giving up the old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and unused one. Yeah, that's how they're going to release themselves from the demons, should they so decide, is by what we're talking about here. I mean, that's what it said, huh? That's what it said. 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 That's a pretty one. Oh, it's yellow? Oh, I'm in love with that. Yeah, a lot of Oshun energy, guys. It's a lot of Oshun energy for the ones in this potent energy.
My nose is stuffed, and I unstuffed the one that was stuffed. And now I can read both sides.
Good job.
Just one of them is sticky.
What I'm understanding by the fact that when my daughter is saying something about like she can breathe because she was resting, that there's this energy of like a breath of fresh air possibly is maybe what someone's receiving as well in these readings. But these people over here, their money reading information is saying scarcity. Scarcity is thinking small. Thinking in small amounts creates small amounts. Think big, believe in abundance. Talk abundance. Instead of seeing your paycheck half spent, see it as half left over. Appreciate what you have. Stop seeing what is missing. When you concentrate on fullness, it will appear. Affirmation: my life is full and rich in all ways. Growth. So they're looking at it in a space of learning how to manifest growth in a natural way without it causing any harm to others. All right, anyway, let's move on to the great people that money mirror and simplicity are their things right now. Money mirroring. Through our money, we see a reflection of who we are in the world. What is mirrored to us is how we are succeeding in life. When our lives are chaotic, our money goes in and out of our checking accounts in sporadic and drastic ways. Leading productive lives, doing good work, being fair, makes our money situation more stable and more plentiful. Our lives are reflected in our financial condition. Stop for a moment and look into your own financial mirror. What do you see? Affirmation: leading a productive life and treating others fairly brings me great financial and spiritual abundance. Attraction. There's a heavy note here that I'm getting outside of this card because I was getting all this information as I was reading the card. You are in a bridge situation. That's why these two are here. It's going from money mirroring to simplicity. Because I kept hearing like, there's a bridge. And I was like, what? And then I was reminded of this game that I played recently where I bought a bridge and I was like, oh, that looks super cute. So like, it's that. You've attracted what you needed to, and now you're in this space of understanding for your money mirroring, like to lead that productive life in your financial world as well. You're seeing things is what I'm understanding. You looked in the mirror, maybe had a talk with yourself. I don't know. I don't know where this New York accent was coming from right then either, but yeah, it's heavy on the New York. So it was something about, and that was something about the colors. Like it was something about those colors. Was happening. It was something about like Sing Sing and how they separated the prisoners. And that's how I got the colors for the chakras. Because those were the colors that they said they separated for whatever. So just so you guys understand, like my downloads are legit just downloads. And then somehow they all connect the dots, la da la da da. I'm like legit Pee Wee Herman right now. Okay, I'm Pee Wee Herman on this psychic shit. All right, anyway. Simplicity. Money matters do not need to be complicated. Finding simplicity and order in our financial world brings ease and enjoyment into other areas of our lives. Today, concentrate on simplicity. Organize bill paying, keep your finances on a simple computer program. Yeah, that's one of the parts of my process when I start working with people on their spiritual journey is we go through this certain process, and I have a whole Excel spreadsheet that adds up and multiplies and removes, and it does everything on its own. So you literally just type in, and I mean, it's just brilliant. Anybody who's used it is like, damn. But anyway, file bills after they are paid. Because organization is very much so probably in everybody's North Node. I'm just keeping 100. But anyway, take the chaos out of the part of your world by knowing that you can put basic systems into place. Hire an organizer to systemize your paperwork. Affirmation: my finances are organized and simple to handle. Understanding. There's also this like while you're attracting this money very simply. By understanding your money mirroring and all these other lessons and whatnot. You're also, it puts you in this strict receiving mode. Somebody pulls their ear. I just want you to know that. I get that energy. I'm feeling that too. But, or maybe this is something somebody needs to hear. But, there's a delegation. Okay, there was a delegation process that came up the other day in a reading, and that's finally it's like coming back here again in your reading. It's like this is going to help you in that. This is very North Node for me, as I know my North Node to be, and that's what I focused on, is like being this regular, neat, controllable type of energy. You know, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. You know, really, really, really living and magnifying that type of energy for oneself. So that's what I understand. Like your money is gonna mirror you as soon as you incorporate whatever it is that you've been attracting. That you know the whole thing, the whole reason you even made this shift, the whole reason for the move over, right? Because sometimes I have to just keep very general so everybody understands. But there was a heavy energy of somebody. Yeah, you've endured what you needed to. Yeah, for this new beginning, this new growth. I keep getting the heavy energy of a music artist, of somebody that like does music or works in that industry. I don't know, but anyway. All right, so that is pretty much it for this reading. I hope that this has been helpful and insightful in some type of way, shape, or form. But this is all a part of the ascension and the shift that we just completed, in which is basic, basic information. Oh yeah, and it's like the Hierophant lovers just kind of didn't want me to put them back in the deck.
Mom,
So
let me see what I have to say.
hold on one second, baby. So it's this Hierophant lovers energy that is maintaining the balance and this success yoga coming from. It's created by the divine. So it is what it is. Yeah. Don't be confused. There were some. These are rare souls, and yes, of course, there are always pretenders. So, all right. Maybe there's some people. These people are really unhappy about that, but like, it's just kind of yeah. Those are people who have to conquer their lust and like really be determined about it. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to get into anything else. I'm going to end it here. I hope that this has been helpful and insightful. Make sure you like and subscribe, please. And we will catch you on the next one.
We have a dog named Mimi.
And we have a dog named Mimi. Catch you on the next one later.
Love you, Mimi.